North Korea's 10 scariest rules. First place is every female soldier's nightmare. Mention North Korea. What do you think of? No impression? That's right. Because North Korea is one of the few countries in the world, one of the countries that is almost not open to the outside world, but still maintain a high state of military readiness. The Korean People's Army, led by the Kim family. There are even 1.3 million active soldiers, 5.8 million paramilitary troops, the size of 200,000 reserve soldiers, ranked first in the world. The scale is indeed large. However, objectively speaking, the treatment and current situation of these soldiers, it is indeed not good today. Let's take a look at it with everyone, the terrifying secret behind North Korea's military. 1. Punishment of female soldiers. The harsh living conditions mentioned above, heavy training tasks for any ordinary soldier. It's all unbearable. And among these soldiers, there is no shortage of female soldiers. There are natural physiological differences between men and women. When women arrive during their menstrual period, how much does it require some special care? However, what North Korean female soldiers can get just some bandages. No necessary hygiene products nor any extra leave at this time. If female soldiers suffer from these physiological problems when unable to complete work tasks, they will still be criticized and punished by the military officers. Although North Korean law stipulates soldiers have the right to appeal, but the reality is often that officers use one's power, suppressed all the gossip, persecuted female soldiers. No matter how painful it is, I can only swallow it by myself. 2. Healthcare. The officer's son was riddled with parasites. Don't you think it's strange? Why are there parasites all over body? Having said that, this has to be mentioned. North Korea's troops have poor healthcare system. According to North Korea's public health law, free for all citizens enjoy comprehensive medical services. No insurance required. No bill either. Doesn't this sound great? However, many defectors later spoke out publicly. North Korea's actual citizen healthcare service. Maybe it's related to publicity services. The difference is 1,000 miles. Some citizens recalled, so-called hospitals rarely have real medicines. Even if there is, ordinary people will also be charged to patients unaffordable costs. What we see most every day is a large amount of iodine. Hospitals use this cheap disinfectant, dealing with the large number of soldiers injured every day. Not to mention, it's completely useless. It's really better than nothing. So many times soldiers would forage for their own herbs from self-healing. 3. Freedom of entry and exit. After reading the previous 2 provisions, do you already want to escape this country? Do you think just leave this land? Can people be free? Unfortunately, things are not that simple. In North Korea, ordinary citizens and ordinary soldiers, they are strictly prohibited from leaving the country freely. For soldiers, even entering and leaving the army freely is not easy, let alone leaving the country. Usually soldiers get very little leave. There are only about 10 days in a year, and in most cases you still have to seek approval from the leadership. It's here. It's impossible to go on vacation abroad or anything like that, unless they are sent to China by their superiors, etc. Some relatively friendly countries perform special tasks. Otherwise, you are not allowed to leave the country for any reason. Such a high-pressure policy, it's true that not everyone can bear it. So, it is inevitable that some soldiers will choose to defect. These defecting soldiers usually escapes to South Korea, accept South Korea's pardon. But if you are caught on the way, the consequences are also conceivable. Such a rumor was widely circulated in North Korea, speaking of the son of a senior military officer. On the way to defect, shot more than 40 times in the end, he was lucky enough to be riddled with parasites, escaped to South Korea. 4. Forced crying. You can never imagine in some corner of the world if you don't cry, it will become illegal. That's right. In North Korea, this is really happening in accordance with legal provisions. Whenever national leaders inspect military exercises, soldiers in the audience. When you see the leader, you have to applaud enthusiastically and cry with excitement to show respect and love for the leader. Don't think this is a joke. Take a look at the previous death ceremony of Kim Jong-il, the enthusiastic performance of the soldiers in the audience. This has become a fanatical behavior and effect. Besides, the soldiers not only cry, still crying is real emotional expression of crying. Otherwise, if we are caught by the supervision department, we'll suffer the same punishment as those soldiers who did not cry. This includes assigning heavier labor tasks, even unbearable torture. If the situation is serious, for example, there are suspected acts of insulting leaders, you may also face the death penalty. 5. Militarization work. Maybe you think these soldiers gritted their teeth and held on for a few years. Once you finish your military service, you will be successful. But the reality is not like this. Even after completing military service, they still need to accept various jobs arranged by the organization. For example, assisting farmers in reclaiming land to grow crops, help workers build water conservancy projects, etc. Take the Tyson Large Hydropower Station completed in 2016 for the Saibo Terrace project. Their construction is inseparable from with the help of a large number of soldiers drawn from various places, and the whole process is not simple at all. During this time, men and women need to work side by side. Male workers are mainly responsible for mining, development of land, and other infrastructure projects. Women are mainly responsible for cooking and cleaning. The point is, this is all unpaid labor. Soldiers who participate may receive some verbal recognition and awards, but in all fairness, this is important to their lives. What's the use? 6. Special training North Korean soldiers. In addition to enduring the above, very difficult living conditions have to do it day after day. Worthless second-rate training due to vehicles, fuel, and ammunition, etc. The cost of equipment is very expensive. The military cannot afford the cost of training. Therefore, most of the soldiers' daily training, they are all learning and memorizing theoretical knowledge over and over again. It is said that these soldiers, in addition to the full-day training, there will also be night training besides. They also need to grow crops and raise livestock. This will generate revenue for the military. Secondly, I can also add something more to my job. Apart from this, they also have a weird one and cruel training program just to show the performance under the camera. You heard it right. It's a performance at such a time to show the bravery and loyalty of the soldiers. Soldiers will perform smashing bricks and blasting explosives with their bare hands. Projects such as shooting at the enemies of American imperialism and capitalism. The whole thing is like a circus school. How? 7. Life choices. If we say that ordinary North Korean citizens before age 17, if you are still somewhat free, that's 17 years old, there is no choice. Because according to the law, all citizens after reaching a certain age, all must perform military service without exception. There is no other choice. This means that ordinary citizens, I can't control the direction of my life at all. You can't choose your own future. However, what makes people feel angry and unfair is that the children of many members of North Korea's elite and political parties often excluded from military service. Even their current leader, Kim Jong-un, same thing. You know, even though he commanded an entire army, but he himself has never genuine service in any branch of the military. Besides, due to economic decline, current military service versus length of service, the height requirements for men and women have also been lowered. This means citizens need to enter the army earlier, one step ahead and move forward with heavy load. 8. Ideological education. If you were born in North Korea, then you may spend your whole life will be brainwashed by a unified voice. This is not alarmist, but the fact that is actually happening. Otherwise, what do you think the Kim family is like without armed revolution? The one who built one of the largest armies on earth. Babbling from children. Start to understand new things. Start when you have subjective consciousness. The ruling Workers' Party and militaristic ideology will penetrate from all aspects people's lives and minds. For example, the kindergarten is decorated with soldier-looking cartoon animal with loaded gun, promotional cartoon of fighting and destroying the enemy, military uniforms worn since childhood, etc. in those widely sung songs. There is even a line like this: 3 million Boy Scouts will become guns and bombs. We will be the generals' weapons and bombs. Sacrifice yourself for the great leader and country. See here. Are you already starting to feel scared? 9. Soybean regulations. Yes, you read that right. North Korean soldiers have been short of soybeans, lack of nutrients in legume foods. Here is some background knowledge. The nutritional value of soybeans. The protein content is 2 times higher than that of pork, 2.5 times the content of eggs. The protein content of soybeans is not only high and good quality because of the amino acids in soybeans closer to the ratio needed by the human body, so it is easier to digest and absorb. May 2021 opinion. appeared on Kim Jong-un's desk, a report on extreme nutritional deficiencies among soldiers. For such a report, the countermeasures he issued were simple. That is to require all military units, soldiers must be ensured eat at least one meal of legumes every day, such as soybeans or tofu. Obviously, such a command. It has not changed the current situation of food scarcity. This undoubtedly throws the problem to executive commander. There are policies and measures to counter commanders in a dilemma in order to avoid being punished. As a last resort, a series of little actions were started. This includes sending soldiers home on leave. Bring it with you and be ready when you come back. Adequate legumes and other grains, but for the vast majority of soldiers, their own home food supply. I was already very nervous. If you want to meet the requirements of your superiors, that's equivalent to emptying out one's own granary, or be punished, or make your family hungry if it is you. How would you choose? 10. Weird living conditions. North Korea has a small land area to all walks of life and residence. After allocating the land needed for basic life, there's almost not much left. Therefore, it is necessary to provide more than 1 million soldiers on active duty with provide comfortable housing. It's really not easy. But this does not mean that North Korean soldiers, you should live in a dirty and messy environment. It is reported that North Korean soldiers camp. Basically, they are stationed all over the country, in a small concrete barracks, and in such a small barracks. But it has to squeeze in more than 20 people. Moreover, each soldier only has one small drawer to store your uniform and personal belongings. In addition to the small area per capita, their overall food and accommodation conditions are also very poor. Ventilation is a particularly serious problem. After completing training every day, the soldiers return to the barracks. The smell of sweat never goes away. The smell of the environment is second to none. Mainly, it is easy to breed bacteria and viruses. Under such ventilation conditions, acute respiratory syndrome in the early 2000s and the COVID-19 epidemic in recent years all dealt a serious blow to the North Korean army. Many innocent soldiers haven't had time to guard the border yet. Just sacrifice yourself in this airtight barracks. Okay, that's it. All the contents of this video. Didn't know these 10 terrible rules above? Which one impressed you the most? Welcome to tell us in the comment area below. If you like this video, welcome to like and subscribe or share it with friends around you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.